Admiral Jackson Reed stared at the massive holographic display dominating the Cheyenne Mountain's deepest chamber. The alien fleet had appeared without warning, 300 vessels, each larger than anything humanity had officially built. Their message was being broadcast on every frequency in every language. People of Earth, this is High Commander Valdrix of the Centauri Empire. Your primitive world now belongs to us. You have 24 hours to submit your unconditional surrender. Resistance will result in planetary bombardment. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. You will be no different. The alien commander's face filled every screen humanoid but with metallic skin that reflected light like polished bronze. Behind Jackson, General Maria Hernandez gripped the Situation Room table, her knuckles white. "They're expecting us to fold," she whispered, "just like every other world they've conquered." Jackson allowed himself a small smile. "Then let's give them exactly what they expect." Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Commander Rebecca Wung received the encoded message from Earth. She stood in the central command hub of Project Sentinel, humanity's greatest secret. Around her, hundreds of technicians monitored the status of Earth's real fleet, 700 warships built over 40 years, hidden in bases throughout the solar system. "Begin Operation Trojan," Rebecca announced. "All ships maintain emission silence. Let's show them our best surrender." On Earth, the theatrical performance began. President Thomas Chen addressed the world, his voice trembling perfectly. "My fellow citizens, we face an overwhelming force. To save lives, we must submit." Military bases began standing down. Ships returned to port. Aircraft were grounded. Soldiers walked away from their posts. High Commander Valdrix watched the displays with satisfaction. His massive flagship, stretching 12 kilometers from bow to stern, held position just beyond Mars' orbit. "Predictable," he said to his subordinates. "Like all primitive species, they choose survival over pride." But in the shadows of Jupiter's moons, inside hollowed-out asteroids, and within Mars' deeper canyons, humanity's real military prepared for war. Captain Nathan Patel ran another systems check on the EFS Defiant, a warship that incorporated 40 years of reverse-engineered alien technology and human innovation. His crew, like all others in the hidden fleet, had trained their entire lives for this moment. "Quantum drives charged," reported Lieutenant Jennifer Zhao from engineering. "Shield harmonics at optimal frequency." In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. William Morrison and his team monitored the alien fleet's communications. For decades, they had intercepted and studied alien transmissions, learning their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. Now that knowledge would be their undoing. "Their arrogance is their weakness," William said to his team as they prepared their cyber warfare package. "They never consider that a primitive species might have teeth." The aliens began their approach toward Earth, their fleet spreading out in standard conquest formation. They had done this hundreds of times before. Arrive, demand surrender, accept submission, begin occupation. Their sensors showed Earth's military in disarray, their satellites going dark, their defenses powering down. What those sensors couldn't detect were the quantum-shielded warships waiting in ambush positions throughout the solar system. Humanity had spent 4 decades preparing for this moment, building a fleet that could match and exceed anything the Empire could bring to bear. President Chen made another broadcast, this time formally accepting the Empire's terms. His performance was masterful, complete with barely hidden tears and a breaking voice. "We submit to the great Centauri Empire. Our military forces are standing down. We ask only for mercy." High Commander Valdrix prepared to send in the occupation fleet. Victory without a single shot fired. Another primitive world added to the Empire's glory. He had no way of knowing that Earth's apparent submission was merely the opening move in a game humanity had been preparing to play for 40 years. The countdown continued. In 24 hours, the Empire would learn why threatening Earth was the last mistake they would ever make. They had demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, they would meet humanity's warships. And nothing in their 1,000 conquered worlds had prepared them for what was coming. As the Centauri Empire's occupation fleet approached Earth, humanity's greatest performance continued. Military bases worldwide broadcast their deactivation codes. Missile silos powered down. Aircraft carriers dropped anchor in their home ports. Soldiers posted tearful farewell messages on social media as they abandoned their posts. Ambassador Michael Akanjo stood before the alien delegation in Geneva, his hands trembling as he signed Earth's surrender document. The aliens' metallic faces showed no emotion, but their body language radiated smugness. Behind them, massive screens showed their ships entering the inner solar system, their hull plating gleaming in the sunlight. "You have chosen wisely," the alien diplomatic officer said through its translator. "The Empire rewards submission with mercy." Michael bowed deeply, fighting to hide his disgust. As Earth's chief negotiator, he had one crucial role: keep the aliens overconfident. "We are grateful for your benevolence," he managed, his voice cracking perfectly. "Earth accepts its place in your great empire." Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a base carved into the red planet's bedrock, Admiral Rebecca Wung received the coded signal hidden in Michael's transmission. "They're taking the bait," she announced to her command staff. "Begin Phase 2. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet ran final checks on their weapons systems. The ships were technological marvels, combining 40 years of human innovation with reverse-engineered alien tech. Their quantum drives could outmaneuver anything in the Empire's arsenal. Their shield systems operated on frequencies the aliens had never encountered. On the stealth battleship EFS Reckoning, Captain Nathan Patel addressed his crew. "All our lives, we've trained in secret. We've lived in shadows, preparing for this moment. In 12 hours, we show the Empire why threatening Earth was their final mistake." His weapons officer, Lieutenant Rosa Martinez, reported from her station. "All quantum torpedoes armed and calibrated, shield frequencies randomizing every microsecond. They won't know what hit them." High Commander Valdrix watched with satisfaction as his occupation fleet moved into position around Earth. 300 ships, arranged in a perfect sphere of dominance. His sensors showed Earth's pathetic military continuing its shutdown. The humans were even providing their full technological database, everything from military codes to scientific research. "Begin downloading their data," Valdrix ordered. "Their technology may be primitive, but perhaps we'll find something amusing." What the Empire didn't know was that Dr. William Morrison's team had prepared a special gift within that data transfer. Their quantum virus was a masterpiece of cyber warfare, designed to infiltrate and hibernate within the Empire's systems until the perfect moment. "Virus deployment at 60%, William reported from his underwater command center. "They're swallowing it whole." In the lunar base, Commander Rebecca Wung watched the tactical display as the Empire's ships moved closer to Earth. Their formation was spreading thin exactly as predicted. Decades of studying their tactics had revealed their standard occupation patterns. The Empire's arrogance made them predictable. "All ships maintain emission silence," Rebecca broadcast on the quantum-encrypted channel. "Let them settle into position." The hours ticked by. The Empire began deploying their occupation forces. Massive ships entered Earth's atmosphere, heading for major cities. Their sensors showed no resistance, no hidden weapons, no last-minute heroics, just another primitive world accepting its fate. In his underground command center, Admiral Jackson Reed received updates from every hidden base in the solar system. The reports were all the same: weapons ready, crews prepared, ships at maximum combat readiness. Earth's real military strength remained perfectly concealed, waiting for the signal. "Status report," Jackson demanded. "Luna Base reports all ships ready," his aide responded. "Mars fleet standing by, Jupiter Defense Force in position. Asteroid belt squadrons await your command." Jackson allowed himself a grim smile. The Empire thought they were watching Earth surrender. Instead, they were witnessing the final moments of peace they would ever know. In 6 hours, humanity would reveal its true face, not with words of submission, but with the thunder of warships. In orbit, High Commander Valdrix prepared to address his new subjects. His victory speech was already written, full of grand promises about Earth's glorious future within the Empire. His species had conquered 1,000 worlds this way. They had never lost, never faced real resistance, never been truly challenged. That was about to change. As Earth's sunset marked the approaching deadline, President Chen made his final broadcast. His words carried a hidden message for those who knew where to look. "We bow before the Empire's might, for we have no choice. When darkness falls, we pray for mercy." Those who knew the truth understood the real meaning. When darkness falls, we strike. The Empire had demanded Earth's surrender. In a few hours, they would receive humanity's real answer, delivered not by diplomats, but by warships that would shatter their arrogant assumptions forever. The countdown to revelation continued, and with it, the approaching doom of an empire that had fatally underestimated humanity's capacity for deception, innovation, and vengeance. The moment of revelation began with silence. High Commander Valdrix stood on his flagship's bridge, preparing to announce the Empire's formal takeover of Earth when every screen in his fleet suddenly went dark. For 3 seconds there was nothing. Then President Chen's face appeared on every display, but his demeanor had changed. Gone was the trembling, fearful leader. In his place stood a man wearing a cold, satisfied smile. To the Centauri Empire, Chen began, his voice steel-hard. You demanded our surrender, here is humanity's response. Across the solar system, hidden bases activated. On Luna, massive doors opened in supposedly barren craters. From Jupiter's moons, warships emerged from ice-covered hangars. Throughout the asteroid belt, dead rocks split apart, revealing sleek destroyers. And from Mars, humanity's greatest weapons rose from the red sands. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Valdrix's sensor officer screamed. 700, no 800 vessels, they're everywhere. The EFS reckoning decloaked less than 10 kilometers from Valdrix's flagship. Captain Nathan Patel's voice cut through the Empire's communications. This is the Earth Defense Fleet to all Centauri vessels. You threatened our world with extinction. Now witness humanity's answer. The first shots of the war came from the Asteroid Belt Squadron. Commander Lee Patel's destroyers targeted the Empire's communication ships, their quantum torpedoes moving faster than the alien sensors could track. 20 critical communication nodes died in the first 30 seconds, throwing the Empire's network into chaos. How is this possible? Valdrix demanded as his fleet's coordinated defense systems fragmented. They're primitives. His answer came in the form of Dr. William Morrison's virus, dormant until this moment. Throughout the Empire's fleet, weapon systems suddenly targeted their own ships. Shield frequencies randomized, leaving vessels vulnerable. Navigation systems sent ships veering into each other's paths. From her command center on Mars, Admiral Rebecca Wung orchestrated humanity's response. All ships execute Battle Plan Phoenix. Show them what 40 years of preparation looks like. The Luna fleet struck next. 200 warships, led by Commander Victor Rossi, emerged from the dark side of the moon. Their weapons had been specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in Imperial shield technology, weaknesses humanity had spent decades studying. Target their engines, Victor commanded. No ship leaves the solar system without our permission. The Empire's occupation fleet tried to form defensive positions, but they were surrounded. From every direction, human ships attacked with weapons and tactics the aliens had never encountered. Quantum torpedoes phased through their shields. Gravity lances pulled their ships into each other. Computer viruses turned their own automated defense systems against them. On the EFS reckoning, Lieutenant Rosa Martinez reported from Tactical. Their flagship's shields are down. Quantum virus has disabled their main weapons. They're blind and defenseless. Captain Nathan Patel nodded grimly. Send the message again. Let's make sure they understand exactly what's happening. Throughout the Empire's fleet, screens lit up with images of Earth's hidden military bases. 40 years of preparation. Thousands of engineers and scientists working in secret. A military force built specifically to counter Imperial technology. Impossible, Valdrix watched as his fleet was systematically dismantled. Their technology, they couldn't have developed this alone. You're right, President Chen's voice returned. We had help. Every alien ship that crashed on Earth over the last century, every piece of Imperial technology we could salvage. We studied it all, improved it, surpassed it. While you saw primitives, we were building your doom. The battle raged across the solar system. Imperial ships, designed for easy victories over primitive worlds, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Human vessels seemed to appear from nowhere, strike with devastating precision and vanish again. In the asteroid belt, Commander Lee Patel's destroyers hunted down Empire ships trying to escape. Remember your training, she told her crews. They're not used to fighting equals, use their arrogance against them. Dr. Morrison's cyber warfare team, monitoring from their underwater base, continued to wreak havoc in the Empire's systems. Their entire command and control network is compromised, he reported. They're fighting blind. High Commander Valdrix watched in horror as his supposedly invincible fleet was reduced to scattered, panicked groups of ships fighting for survival. The humans weren't just winning, they were demonstrating complete tactical and technological superiority. Full retreat, he finally ordered. All ships emergency jump to. His words cut off as the EFS reckoning decloaked directly in front of his bridge. Captain Patel's voice carried the weight of humanity's verdict. You demanded Earth's surrender, instead we sent warships. Now understand what that means. There will be no retreat, no escape. This is humanity's answer to your threats. The battle continued, but its outcome was already decided. The Empire had expected submission from a primitive world. What they got instead was the most devastating military defeat in their thousand-year history. As their ships exploded or surrendered across the solar system, one truth became crystal clear: threatening Earth had been the Empire's final mistake. In Geneva, Ambassador Michael Akanjo stood before the alien diplomatic delegation again. This time, there was no pretense of submission in his voice. "Now," he said to the stunned aliens, "shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" News of the Empire's devastating defeat reached their homeworld like a shockwave. For the first time in 1,000 years, an Imperial fleet had not just been challenged, it had been utterly destroyed. The Imperial Council, in their Crystal Palace on Centauri Prime, made a fatal decision born of panic and pride. They would send their entire reserve fleet to crush this upstart world. Admiral Jackson Reed received the quantum sensor data from Earth's long-range probes. 3,000 ships, he announced to the gathered military command. Their entire remaining fleet, they're desperate to save face. "Good," Admiral Rebecca Wung replied from Mars Command. "Let them come. Everything is proceeding exactly as we predicted." The Imperial Reinforcement Fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, led by Supreme Commander Maldrax himself. His flagship dwarfed even Valdrix's vessel, stretching 30 kilometers from bow to stern. "These humans will learn the true meaning of Imperial power," he declared to his fleet. "No primitive species defies us and survives." What Maldrax didn't know was that Earth's victory over the First Fleet hadn't been a desperate last stand. It was merely the first phase of a larger strategy. While the Empire raged and gathered its forces, humanity had been busy. Captain Nathan Patel stood on the bridge of the EFS Reckoning, now joined by 500 newly revealed warships from Earth's outer system bases. Status report on Operation Starfall. Lieutenant Rosa Martinez smiled at her tactical display. "All quantum mines in position, sir. The hyperspace corridors are seeded. Phase 2 defensive grid is online. Dr. Morrison's enhanced virus package is ready for deployment." Throughout the solar system, humanity's full military might was finally revealing itself. From bases hidden in the Kuiper Belt, a new class of warships emerged, the Titan-class dreadnoughts. Each one carried enough firepower to level a continent, built using principles the Empire had never imagined. Commander Lee Patel led the first Titan squadron. "All ships, power up the gravity lance arrays. Let's show them what human engineering can really do." The Empire's fleet advanced in traditional formation, their arrogance undimmed by their first defeat. They believed their overwhelming numbers would guarantee victory. They were wrong. The first wave of Imperial ships hit the quantum minefield. Unlike conventional explosives, these weapons altered local spacetime itself. 100-kilometer sections of the Imperial fleet found themselves compressed into spaces the size of tennis balls, creating artificial black holes that swallowed nearby ships. "Impossible," Maldrax watched as his fleet's front line vanished. "Their technology cannot be this advanced." Dr. Morrison's voice cut through the Imperial command network. "You assumed we were primitive because we chose not to reveal ourselves. Humanity has been preparing for this moment for 40 years. Everything you've seen so far has been exactly what we wanted you to see." The battle erupted across the entire solar system. But this time, there was no pretense of weakness from Earth's forces. The Titan-class dreadnoughts engaged the Empire's largest ships head-on, their gravity lances tearing battle cruisers apart at the atomic level. From her command center on Mars, Admiral Wung coordinated the system-wide defense. "Execute Operation Prometheus. Show them the true face of human warfare." Humanity's most devastating weapons activated. The quantum disruption field, developed in secret facilities beneath Europa, expanded outward. Imperial ships found their advanced technology simply shutting down, their quantum drives refusing to function, their weapons powerless. "This is impossible," Maldrax raged as his flagship systems went dark. "We are the Empire, we cannot be defeated by primitives." Captain Patel's voice responded coldly through the failing Imperial communications. "Your mistake was thinking we were primitives. Your crime was threatening Earth. Now face the consequences." The Titan squadrons moved in perfect coordination, their attacks precisely calculated. They didn't just destroy Imperial ships, they demonstrated complete technological superiority. Quantum torpedoes phased through multiple vessels before detonating. Gravity weapons created localized time distortions that aged enemy ships to dust in seconds. From his command center, Admiral Reed watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Send the message to all Imperial forces. Let them understand exactly what their arrogance has cost them. Throughout the enemy fleet, screens displayed images of Earth's true military capability. Massive shipyards hidden inside Mercury's core. Quantum weapon facilities buried beneath Venus's clouds. An entire parallel military-industrial complex built in secret while humanity played the role of primitive victims. 40 years ago, President Chen's voice echoed through every Imperial ship. You gave us a choice, submit or die. Instead, we chose to prepare, to build, to surpass you. You threatened Earth with extinction. Now witness extinction's answer. The battle wasn't just a defeat for the Empire, it was the end of their dominance in the galaxy. Their entire reserve fleet, the backbone of their military might, was being systematically destroyed by the very primitives they had come to conquer. Supreme Commander Maldrax, watching his empire crumble, finally understood. They hadn't discovered Earth, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Their demand for surrender hadn't cowed humanity, it had triggered the unveiling of a military force specifically designed to destroy them. As the last Imperial ships were crushed between the gravity fields of Earth's Titan dreadnoughts, Admiral Wang sent the final message to the Empire's homeworld. You demanded Earth's surrender. We sent warships instead. Remember this day. Remember what happens when you threaten humanity. The galaxy will never be the same. The ruins of the Imperial fleet drifted through the solar system like a metallic graveyard. Earth's quantum sensors detected no further hostile ships within 50 light-years. The message had been sent, humanity would not be conquered. But for the architects of Earth's victory, this was just the beginning. Admiral Jackson Reed stood before the United Nations Assembly, now expanded to include representatives from every human settlement across the solar system. The chamber fell silent as he approached the podium. For 40 years we prepared in secret, he began. We reversed-engineered their technology, improved upon it, and built weapons they couldn't imagine. When they demanded our surrender, they thought they were speaking to primitives. Instead, they were talking to their replacements. In orbit above Earth, the EFS Reckoning led a fleet of ships toward the Empire's former territory. Captain Nathan Patel addressed his crew. The Empire threatened thousands of worlds with the same choice they gave us, submit or die. We're going to give those worlds a different option, freedom. The Quantum Intelligence Network, masterminded by Dr. Morrison, had already cracked the Empire's entire database. They now had access to star maps, colony locations, and defense protocols for every world under Imperial control. But more importantly, they had the names of every species that had been forced to kneel. Admiral Rebecca Wang coordinated the Liberation Fleet from Mars Command. All ships prepare for long-range deployment. Operation Exodus begins now. Show the galaxy what humanity stands for. The first liberated world was Proxima b, an ocean planet whose native species had been reduced to servants in their own home. When the human fleet arrived, the Imperial governors expected another conqueror. Instead, they found their weapons disabled by quantum fields and their ships locked down by technology they couldn't comprehend. Commander Lee Patel led the ground teams. We're not here to replace your masters, she told the gathered Proximan leaders. We're here to ensure you can choose your own path. World after world received the same message. The Empire had fallen. Earth's fleet arrived not as conquerors but as liberators. Dr. Morrison's quantum virus spread through Imperial networks, unlocking slave collars, disabling oppression systems, and returning control to local populations. On Centauri Prime itself, the Imperial Council faced their final humiliation. The human fleet appeared in their home system without warning, their ships simply phasing through the planet's defensive grid as if it didn't exist. President Chen addressed the council directly. You demanded Earth's surrender, instead we sent warships. Now we offer you the same choice you gave so many others, but with a difference. You can join the new Galactic Federation as equals, or you can remain isolated. The choice is yours. The aftermath transformed the galaxy. Earth's technology, developed in secret for 4 decades, became the new standard. The quantum drives that had surprised the Empire were now being shared with former slave worlds. The gravity weapons that had destroyed Imperial ships were converted to tools for mining and construction. In the ruins of an Imperial shipyard, Captain Patel met with representatives from 30 former Imperial worlds. Earth remembers what it means to be threatened with extinction, he told them. We built our strength not just to defend ourselves, but to ensure no species would face that threat again. The Galactic Federation took shape, headquartered not on Earth but on a neutral world chosen by all member species. Humanity's role was not to rule, but to protect, to ensure that no empire could ever again threaten peaceful worlds with destruction. Admiral Wang oversaw the establishment of the Federation's Defense Force, a multi-species fleet built around Earth's advanced technology. We prepare not for conquest, she told the first class of alien officers, but to preserve freedom across the galaxy. 1 year after the Empire's fall, the changes were visible from every corner of known space. Former imperial worlds flourished under self-governance. Trade routes, once controlled by imperial decree, flowed freely. Species that had been enemies under imperial rule began cultural exchanges and scientific collaborations. In the UN Assembly, now renamed the Solar Council, Admiral Reed presented the final report on Operation Phoenix, the 40-year project that had transformed humanity from apparent primitives to galactic defenders. When the Empire demanded our surrender, they thought they were following a pattern that had worked for 1,000 years, he concluded. Instead, they triggered their own extinction. But from their ashes, we've built something better, a galaxy where no species needs to fear demands for surrender. President Chen's final address to the Galactic Federation became known as the Promise of Earth. We remember what it means to face extinction. We remember what it means to hide our strength and bide our time. And we promise this, never again will any peaceful world face the choice between submission and destruction. The stars belong to all of us. The Empire had demanded Earth's surrender. Humanity had responded with warships. But in the end, they delivered something far more powerful: hope for a galaxy free from imperial ambitions. The age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And it all started because an empire made one crucial mistake. They threatened Earth with extinction, never knowing they were actually talking to their successors. The stars themselves would remember the lesson. Never mistake patience for weakness, preparation for primitiveness, or humanity's apparent submission for actual surrender.